Hello and welcome back to the FIA European Rallycross Championships, and we're coming to you live from Estering in Germany. It's round 4 of both the Super 1600s and the Supercar categories, and we've had a thrilling morning so far in qualifying 1. It was all to play for out there, and we saw all types of weather as well. It was a wet start first thing, it dried up and then it started raining midway through qualifying, causing some problems indeed for our supercars out there, but one man certainly coped with the pressure of the changing weather, indeed the rain coming down in his last lap, and that man is behind me here. That's Robin Larsen. We will have the Super 1600 starting any minute now. It's all quiet for now. It's the calm before the storm here in Estering, and Adar Nureyev is leading the way in those Super 1600s. As I said though, man of the moment, unbeaten so far in the first 3 rounds of the Euro RX is Robin Larsen, and he continued that perfect start to the season this morning as well in qualifying 1, taking out he's sitting TQ, fastest time, and Robin Larsen's just here chilling before we see qualifying 2. Robin, talk me through your race this morning. How did it go?
Yeah, we got the perfect start as I wanted to. It's a really slippery track here, so I wanted that win in the first corner, and we got it. So then we're just pushing and get those lap times in. Then on the last lap, the rain was coming, so it was slippery again. So yeah, really good first run, but yeah, now it's going to be a tougher qualification too.
And the rain actually came down during your race, those conditions changing right there and there, and we're going to see some onboard footage of you in that drive. Just a quick question though, are you on wet or dry tyres? Because it's tricky today, isn't it?
Yeah, it went dry before the race, so it was no hard decision, but when you have the dry tyres on, when the wet is coming, it gets really slippery, but yeah, it was just one lap, so it was good.
Okay, and from what you learnt this morning and what you saw in race 1, what will you take into qualifying 2 now?
It's a start again. We got tough drivers with Tiedemann and Hedström, and so the start is main goal here. And if you can come up first, you almost win 50% of the race. So it's really tough first corner.
And I was watching with Dan Rook in commentary in awe at the technique you used to get round that uphill gravel hairpin. Just how tough is turn 1 to get right?
It's really tough. If you want to go like me really wide, it's pretty hard to nail that exit, and I missed it a couple of times. So it's good sometimes and bad sometimes. So it's really tricky because the track is changing every lap and every heat. So. Yeah, but I like to drive that way, and I'm going to continue push it.
Well, the sun's out at the moment as well, so it's possibly drying out up there.
Yeah, it's starting to look really good, and I hope for good action in Q2.
Thank you very much. Best of luck to you for Q2. Well, there you go, the thoughts of Robin Larsen ahead of qualifying 2. I'll now hand over to our commentators, Martin Haven and Dan Rook.
Yeah, thank you, Laura. And thank you to Rob and Dan. It is drying out. I mean, we had a couple of sprinkles of rain. There were a couple of heats in Super 1600, a couple in Supercar that got a bit slippery, but actually the track is remarkably dry at the moment.
Yeah, we're looking out there now, and actually there's sunshine out there I can see from just out of our window here, beyond the notes that we have up on the window. But yeah, the track conditions are actually looking really good. I think they've had a sweeper out there cleaning off the dust that we saw as well, so it's going to be running fast for them.
Right, Super 1600 coming up, but let's take a look at the supercars from their first qualifying heats, because there was plenty of action to talk about, and that man that we've just heard from, Robin Larsen, was in the thick of it. So first heat, watch JB De Borg tries to get a clean getaway, tagged into the first corner though, and that could have been a major disaster, but he recovered unbelievably well.
Yeah, so we see here he actually caught up with Pleskavas and went into the Joker lap to give himself clear space. He had the gap to Fuchik behind, and Pleskavas then went in to try and cover him off, but De Borg was too fast.
And De Borg had reeled him in hand over fist, was catching him all the way. Great strategy again. That's been one of the strong points of JB De Borg all year, is using the Joker lap at a really good time for him. Now in our second heat, his brother Andrea was on the outside, but Robin Larsen, well, if you want to avoid trouble, be in front of the trouble. Yeah,
Robin Larsen had the perfect launch there, didn't he? But for Andrea De Borg, it wasn't so good, and we see him here. This is the first lap with a bit of a tangle with Jensen there, I think it was, and wasn't quite able to get past, but then Jensen went later in the lap, made a mistake, and De Borg got through.
Yeah, Jensen was almost in a different postcode there, but Robin Larsen in a completely different class. Wipers on right at the very end. It did get slippery down at the bottom of the track at turn 2. It was still bone dry here, and he made no mistakes in the Joker lap, using it on the very last lap to the checkered flag. Watch Rennie Munich on the right-hand side, made a great getaway. Did get a little bit of a reprimand for sort of leaning on the red and black car of Thomas Karai. He had a tangle with Brinterson in turn 1. Munich got it wrong in turn 1. Basically, it was a 5-car mess.
Yeah, no one quite able to get it right. You can see the dampness that fell on the second half of the track there for making the conditions quite difficult for these guys.
But again, once you get out front, and Rennie Munich has been a couple of changes to his car. Few drivers up and down the grid actually have been making spring and damper changes. I wonder whether there's more grip than they expected, whether they're firming the cars up. Again, Pontus Tiedemund off a second place last time out in Sweden in the Beetle, really looking to try and consolidate on that. Mandy August on the inside here looked to have a really good run in this Seat, but it all kind of came adrift. She didn't get the drive down the hill, went from second to fourth.
Yeah, and we see Hedstrom here going into the Joker lap straight away to get out the back of Ikonen there. He's out with a brand new car for him, the Markland's 18 car, so he's learning all the time.
Pontus Tiedemund has announced this week that he's going back to World Rally Championship action as well next time out, but concentrating on Euro Rallycross this weekend. Robin Larsen fastest then, maximum points for him. Pontus Tiedemund second. Rennie Munich third quickest, and he's a little bit jumbled up from where you'd expect. Thomas Brinterson in the wet heat, he went really well. And JB de Bourg, despite what looked like a stunning recovery at the time, actually had about the worst of the conditions in his first qualifying race, so he's not even in the top 8. He's in 9th place, just behind brother Andrea. And of course, the cutoff at 12. Christer Dalmans at the moment, the rookie, the 54-year-old, making his Euro Rallycross debut. He's a former snowmobile champion, multiple Nordic snowmobile champion, and he is at the moment in the field 12th fastest after the first of 4 qualifying runs. Ready to get qualifying 2 underway in the European Rallycross 4th round here in Estering in Germany, just outside the beautiful little Hanseatic town of Buxtehude. This is the oldest track on the calendar and the standalone event this season. Super 1600 kick-off our second round of qualifying here Saturday afternoon. On pole position is Ole Henry Steinsholt in his Skoda Fabia. The 16-year-old Norwegian got nerfed off in his first qualifying run. Lars Christian Rosland, 25-year-old in his Corsa alongside him, and Jack Thorne, 23-year-old Briton in the Twingo. He didn't have much luck in that car in the first qualifying run. He needs a little bit better here as well. And these guys stand at the tail of the qualifying field so far.
Yeah, so they've got some work to do now to work their way back up.
Good news for them, it's dry now. Now, it may get drier, it may get wetter. That lottery has yet to be played out. Good even start from the centre of the front row. Lars Christian Rosland leans outside on Jack Thorne, so a clean run through on the inside from the 16-year-old. Ole Henry Steinsholt gets it wrong midway through the corner, and it's Lars Christian Rosland in the Corsa who takes the lead down the hill for the first time.
Yeah, Steinsholt there not quite able to get the car stopped, and that meant that Rosland and Thorne able to get on the inside as Thorne into the back of Rosland, and Steinsholt into the back of him, and Steinsholt now back up into the lead again, so bit of a dramatic first couple of corners. First shall be last, last shall be first. I'm not quite sure that's the way the Bible saw it happening, but so it is. Rosland with the red top and the white bottom half to the car. I beg your pardon, no, that's Steinsholt, red top, white bottom half. Rosland out the tail of the field now. Actually, Rosland going very slowly past us. It sounded all right, but I wonder if he's got a little bit of an issue. Again, with the conditions we've had in the lunch break, nobody is going to have gone out on wet tyres. So, Rosland looks like he's playing a double joker on this one, so not sure how he's going to fare here. Pushing hard in second place, though. Keen for a good result. Well, along with all of them, actually, they all didn't finish in the first qualifying race. That's why they're all here. Jack Thorne now goes to the Joker lap. I think he feels like he's got a bit more pace over Steinsholt in front of him, but now he needs to be careful he doesn't get caught out with Rosland behind.
Yeah, I think his spotters were saying, if you don't go now, you might be losing your opportunity. He gets out cleanly in second place, so let's see if the Twingo has got the pace he hopes for. Again, you can see some of them not quite with the confidence of the real front runners, not really fully committed to the corner. With the front-wheel drive car trying to haul it round, you can't let it drop off the cam. You've got to be really, really throwing it into that uphill hairpin.
Yeah, and the problem with traction as well, they don't have the four-wheel drive system, which we see the supercars have, so having that front-wheel drive and trying to get the pull away from the hairpin is really difficult. Yeah,
the problem is, especially where it's slippery like here, it's just an understeer switch. Once the understeer's there, you can't touch the throttle because it just makes it worse. So Steinsholt across the line. The youngster leads, Thorn in second. He's brought the gap down, though. He is closing, so he was right. He was quicker than the man in front of him. Now, because none of them finished, they're not really quite sure how the others are doing, but the gap is coming down. So it's come down from 1.9 by a third of a second. Closing in.
1.6 now, so he's closing in now. He's coming up to the point now where we'll see if he's got enough. Steinsholt's going to go off to the Joker and Thorn will stay on the standard lap. Yeah, so this is a rehearsal for racing. I think Jack Thorn should come out just about behind, but it depends on how Steinsholt handles this. No, he was very slow through the Joker, and Thorn comprehensively in front, almost a second clear. So that was a good qualifying run for Jack Thorn. He needed that after not finishing, nor did Steinsholt, and nor did Lars Christian Rosland either. So Rosland third at the line, Steinsholt second, but Jack Thorn made a very good fist of that. So far, no run for Estonia's Janne Ligur. He didn't start in the first qualifying run, didn't start here either. So Jack Thorn, 3 minutes 0.157, and that is the fourth fastest heat we've had recorded. So contact between Jack Thorn and Rosland will be examined. So if he gets a 5-second penalty, that still is comprehensively better than he's produced so far. We'll take a look at the start. Thorn on the outside, Rosland in the centre, Steinsholt on the inside. But it was down the bottom of the hill, wasn't it, I think? Yeah, so we've missed it, but yeah, Steinsholt on the start, not quite getting the right line, but yeah, contact between Thorn and Rosland is going to be under investigation, and I think that was where he pushed him on at turn 2.
Yeah, definitely, down the bottom of the hill. So in the end, Jack Thorn produced the speed that he needed. And now that's, you know, that's the ebb and flow here. It's getting drier and drier. I mean, that's comprehensively quicker than the heat they were in before. Of course, 2 of them ended up in a gravel trap. So they've all actually got one decent qualifying run under their belts. And that's important for a driver, right, to get that confidence right. Got it nailed. I know where I'm going. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, at least they've now finished a race, you know, so they've got a time on the board and they're going to be able to see how they compare to the others here.
And it also gives them a chance to then think about their setup, because after the first heat, where they just went off at corner 2, okay, well, that teaches you nothing. So at least now they've got a little bit of experience they can deal with. All right, well, let's get down to Laura Winter. She is in our finish area. Let's have a quick word, hopefully, with our winner.
Jack, how are conditions?
It's dried up a lot. I think the track's still going to come quicker now, so the guys in front are going to go quicker again, I think. So yeah, whether it's enough or no, I don't know. I fluffed from the start, all down to me, so I have to wait and see.
And after the disappointment this morning, how pleased are you to get that one under your belt?
Yeah, worked hard. The car's not tracked up or anything, so it's kind of chuck it together as quick as we can and then get out on track and try and put in a quick time, but like I say, I don't know if it's enough.
Well done, thanks very much.
There was contact out of corner 1 that broke his steering before he'd even done half a lap, and never mind get down to corner 2 in the gravel trap. So, yeah, car put back together, but not necessarily straight as it might be. Into our second qualifying race then, and again on pole position is our 19-year-old female competitor, Guro Majamion, in her C2. Jeremy Lombeck, the 30-year-old Frenchman, in his Citroën C2 starts alongside her. Another Frenchman, Anthony Jan, in a Renault Clio, and Radoslav Rajkovski, the 36-year-old Pole, on the outside in the red and black Fabia. So who are we looking for here? I think Jeremy Lombeck in that multicoloured car, second from the left, underperformed in his first heat. He ought to do a lot better than he did. Away we go. Great start from the outside by Raczkowski, the pole, but he gets tagged, and so too does Lombeck into the barriers. Looks like he's still got all four wheels on his wagon. Classic first corner stuff though, Dan.
Yeah, lucky there that he didn't end off worse, actually, being tagged into the barrier like that, and I'm sure it would have made his steering a little bit out of line, but he's still able to carry on, which is the main thing.
Once the bonnet doesn't flat loose, you can see it bouncing up and down a little bit. He's in second place. Raczkowski made a really good fist of the start. We've seen that a couple of times from pole position. They don't get the initial launch, but maybe there's a little more grip as they're going up through the gears on the inside, or the guys on the outside just get on the brakes earlier.
Yeah, I mean, potentially, but they've got to be careful with if they're on pole to not be squeezed into the wall like, well, we saw Lambek do it, which he wasn't actually in pole position, but you can see the squeeze there as the track actually goes up around to the right before you get to the initial hairpin.
Yeah, it looks like you're over-committing. You have to go in so hard and deep and then get the car to rotate somehow. So that's a tweak on the handbrake in these cars, isn't it?
Yeah, you struggle to turn the car on the brakes like you would in a supercar, so having to use the handbrake to get it to turn in. And of course, that's quite light on the back of these cars as well, so without having the four-wheel drive system and the differential and everything in the back, the back end is actually quite light, so it's only a small tug on the handbrake, but you're actually able to get it to rotate quite easily.
Maya Moem, the Norwegian teenager, she takes the Joker lap on lap 2. So she's jokered and clearly had just enough to stay ahead of Anthony Jan, the 32-year-old in that Renault Clio, not really finding the pace that he needs. Lombeck in second, not holding on to Raczkowski, the leader, either. Cole is starting to drive away.
Yeah, he's had a lovely clear track, hasn't he? Almost 2 seconds back to Lambek in this race, so he'll be pleased with that. He finished in 19th,
yeah,
in the first race, so he's going to be needing the result to try and pick him back up through the running order.
Yeah, definitely. He's a long way behind. This is 3 qualifying races now for him to try and make it into the top 12. Lombeck decides he's going to joker as well, comes back in front of the Norwegian girl. So Lombeck back up into second place after his joker lap. The gap is out to 4.3. Let's see if Raczkowski can open it up. At the end of section, yeah, 6/10 further added to that, and that's a little bit of lack of momentum off the joker lap for Lombeck coming up around sector 1. Raczkowski fully lit, last lap, in he goes.
Nice and tidy job there through the joker lap, and he's going to come out clearly in front. Yeah,
it looks so slow, doesn't it, as they get round the hairpin, but the overall time not bad for him, 2 minutes 58.38. What did he produce before? 3 minutes 24.2. So that's a huge step forward for him. But as we just heard from Jack Thorne, he feels the track's going to get drier and quicker and drier and quicker. And a couple of sprinkles of rain actually is just going to keep the dust down. It's not going to make a material difference to the track. So unless it properly rains, this afternoon could get quicker and quicker. Raczkowski fastest from Lombeck and Maya Moen in third position. And that leaves them ahead of Jack Thorne and Ola Henry Steinsolt. So Raczkowski starts his move up the order. He was actually ahead of Steinsolt and Thorne anyway, but he's now pushed more people behind him, and that's the crucial thing, is getting up the order.
He had a brilliant start as well and hadn't managed to have his nose ahead. Maybe it was a little bit of a squeeze, but nothing too bad. I think it was just generally a racing incident there, and managed to, from here, just pull away. You can see the gap he's already got at this stage, just in lap 1.
Yeah, he just kept his foot in, didn't he? That's rule 1 of driving a front-wheel drive car. Keep your foot in, make the front wheels drag you out of trouble. Lombeck there getting in very hot behind the leader, and then suddenly, I think, realising he had to find a gap for the nose instead of ramming the Skoda in front. And that really cost him a bit of momentum, and then Raczkowski was clear and gone. And the Frenchman left to deal with his Norwegian rival behind. So first two qualifying races done of 5 for the Super 1600s. It's a 23-car field. Only 22 came out in the first heat, though. And we still haven't seen the car of the Estonian Jano Ligur. Hopefully he'll be out tomorrow. Gridding up for race 3. And it's the Russian on pole, Marek Kanashev, 22-year-old in the Skoda Fabia. Compatriots Timur Shigabutinov alongside him, the 26-year-old in the Audi A1. Crowd haven't had too much sheltering to do from the elements. It's actually pretty mild. I know we've got a roof over our heads, but it is t-shirt weather indoors at least. Sim Saluri, the Estonian 35-year-old in the Renault Twingo, is in the middle of the row, in the City-Go rather. Okay, then that's not agreeing.
I think
grid
our grids we have up in the commentary box have changed to the ones that we're seeing there, because
there's been a
Krejcik
time penalty.
Had a 5-second time penalty, so he was further up the order, and now he has slipped down, so he's now in this heat, which unfortunately doesn't correspond with the grids we have in our box, I'm afraid.
Which I've so studiously annotated. All right, so Shigabutinov on pole position. That's the lime green and black kind of splodginess. So let's see where we go from here. Saluri alongside him, Krajicek in the middle, Snoyers, the yellow Renault Megane, and Suchi with the Czech colours on his Peugeot makes a very good start. It's 3 wide. This could be trouble into the first corner. They all drift out wide, and Shigabutinov in the Audi gets his nose in front. Now, can he keep it there? Look at Snoyers on the inside in the yellow Renault Megane. He's got a lot of leaning going on, but Suchi went around the outside. He's up into second place. Snoyers still on the inside, 3 wide into turn 2.
Yeah, surprising there that actually they all made it round, because we can see how dusty it is if you go offline. I thought maybe we'd see someone locking up and going into the gravel section there, but no, the guys managed to keep it together really well, which was good. And we're seeing Krajicek now going into the Joker lap from I think he was in 4th position.
You saw a good view there of Suchi in second place. The car really starting to break away from him as he just carried a fraction too much speed down the hill towards us and got on the brakes. There's Krajicek in the Skoda City-Go. So Shigabutinov and Suchi. And Shigabutinov can't get away at the moment. Check right behind him.
Yeah, challenge for 3rd place there between Saluri and Snoyers. Snoyers runs wide. I don't know, maybe if he got a tap of assistance from Saluri to get by, but the place has been switched around there. So Saluri now back on the assault, trying to pick up places from where he lost out on the first lap.
Suchi is losing time as they came over the brow and down the hill towards the beginning of the Joker lap. The car gets really sideways on him. Shigabutinov with a handful of understeer. And as soon as you go off the cleared bit of tarmac, you're onto all the loose dust and grit and everything, and that's where you're starting to lose traction. Look behind, Saluri closing in on Suchi now. Looks like the Peugeot, the red, white and blue car, is really much detail happy. Saluri does exactly what Snoyers did last lap, gets far too wide into corner 2 and loses all that advantage he's gained.
It's a shame he actually took 9/10 out of Suchi in the first sector of that last lap of this lap here, and then of course just lost it again by running a bit too wide, but he only dropped 2 tenths as opposed to the 9 tenths he actually gained.
So Krajicek and Snoyers side by side for 4th and 5th. Snoyers just in front as they come across the line, so he's got back ahead of Krajicek. Krajicek, though, has jokered and is still all over the back of the Dutchman. So he's trying to go the long way around the outside. They will all take the joker at the end. So where will Krajicek finish in that green and white Skoda City-Go? He might be ahead of Saluri and Snoyers. Shigabutinov on the joker. Suchi will as well. Saluri and Snoyers. Oh! Suchi only just in front of Saluri. They both came locked up into the joker lap, and Krajicek's going to get seconds. No, 3rd at the line by inches. Oh no, look at that, 4/1000ths of a second. I see my eyes are old and cannot see anymore. I thought Krajicek had it, but no, 4/1000ths of a second. Saluri was in front, and you know, the motorsport being what it is, in the end, those 4/1000ths of a second might be the difference between making the qualifying for the semis and not. So Timo Shugabutinov, 2:54.3. What did he do before? He was 12th quickest on a 3:05.8. So it is getting quicker, isn't it? That's very nearly 10 seconds quicker than he was able to go this morning. Some of that will be experience, some of that better setup, a lot of that better weather. Raczkowski second, Suchi, Saluri and Krajcek ahead of Jack Thorne. That's the top half dozen. Good news for Jack Thorne, though, is that he's got more cars behind him than he did at the end of qualifying. Right, let's get down to the interview zone and speak to Laura Winter.
Timo, well done. 2 wins for you so far today. It's been a good day, hasn't it?
Yes, it is. In the first heat, we were a little bit unlucky with the weather, but now the weather looks good. The track condition looks good. A good start, a good race, and I hope it's going to be a good result.
Yeah, absolutely. And how happy are you with the time today and with the speed you've been showing as well?
As I said before, in the first heat, I couldn't show the good time because of the track condition. It was quite wet at the beginning of the race, and I started in the first run. But now I think I will have an opportunity to show a good time.
Thank you very much. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thanks a lot.
But at least he has the decency to look a little bit out of breath. Start on the left-hand side to picture the man on pole position. And again, on the inside line, if you've got your nose in front, Dan, you've pretty much done what you need to survive turn 1, as long as you don't get tagged on the way out.
Yeah, you can really get your elbows out, as we saw Snoyers trying to get his elbows out and free abreast into turn 2. I didn't think it was going to work, but it did, and Snoyers was the winner out of that little battle.
Suchi's car looks a real handful over the brow and down the hill towards the end of the lap, doesn't it? And it didn't get any better as the race went on.
No, he seemed to really be struggling, and Saluri was catching him up at such a rapid rate as well. So maybe Suchi's going to have to go back and talk with the team about changing the setup.
Yeah, looking at springs and dampers. I think as it dries out, will they have started expecting a wet day with slightly softer setup, and will they go slightly firmer now, or is it the other way round? How do you work it with a front-wheel drive?
I mean,
Axle, you know.
it's of course you can't really predict the weather, so any changes they do. They probably wouldn't do too dramatic ones because they don't know if it could start absolutely hammering it down, within a couple of seconds. The sky's not looking too brilliant here; it's quite grey. Yeah. Yeah, they will probably start to stiffen the car up.
Okay, so here we go into qualifying at race 4. And Pavel Wimmer, the man on pole position ahead of the Hungarian Jolly in his Skoda Fabia. Russia's Artur Egorov, the 31-year-old in the Audi A1. Gergely Marton, who was fastest and second fastest in free practice in his Audi. He will start in 4th with Marat Knighsev in 5th position on this grid. So that is the 6 to 10 positions, and this is where they try and jockey to get themselves a little bit more knowledge of the track. And again, because it is evolving so quickly, this is where experience is going to be your best friend, right?
Oh yeah, definitely, especially
away we go. Knighsev on the outside, making a very good start. This is what he did in his first qualifying run. He started from the outside there to take the lead, does again. And right behind him is Marton. Hungarian in second, but it is the Russian that leads. Another Hungarian in third. That's Jolly in his Skoda.
Marton here maybe going to have the chance to show his pace. He's got the bodywork flapping on the car. Bodywork flapping on the car, and he was the fastest Super 1600 car in free practice this morning, and he wasn't quite able to show that pace through the first qualifying race, and now he's in second position. It could be a chance for him to show what he can really do. Is we've got 2 cars going into the Joker lap. That's Jolly and Egorov.
Yep.
So interesting for them to be both following each other in. But once you've committed, you have committed it at this track because of how late you brake compared to the standard lap. So you can't really predict and change your mind very easily at all.
Pavel Wimmer in third, the driver from Czech Republic in his Skoda, but it's still the Russian that leads. Skoda Fabia leads out the A1, Skoda Fabia in third. Jolly, 48-year-old in his Fabia in 4th. Now, are they catching at all? There's a big gap back. These guys will wait until the final lap, surely, before they joker, unless Marton feels he's really being held up. But even then, he can just push Knighsev along.
This could be a chance for Martin there, as the Skoda in front of him ran a little bit wide on the exit of the corner, but he's not quite able to get the toe. He's in the slipstream of the Skoda, but it's too risky to try and make a lunge up the inside. It's a steel barrier on the inside here, and if he was to try and make the dive, then he could end up breaking the car.
It's a bit like the Monaco Rallycross, isn't it? There's not much in the way of runoff area. The barriers are pretty firm, and they dish out the punishment. Now Martin clearly felt he was being held up, so he's going to leave Knightsev to do the final lap on his own. Will he be in front of Wimmer? He is not, but he's far enough behind maybe that the Czech won't hold him up. Didn't work the way he wanted to, I don't think. Martin, having been held up by the Russian, is now going to be held up a little bit by the Czech in front of him. Need to see what he produces in terms of outright pace. So final lap for the leader. And Knightsev will take the checkered flag, winning this one. He was only 11th after the first qualifying round. Martin second, Wimmer third, ahead of Jolly and Egorov. So Egorov qualifying 9th, Jolly qualifying 8th. They had better conditions among the wet, dry first qualifying races. But it's Marek Knightsev who is fastest, Gergely Martin second quickest, and then Pavel Wimmer finishing third, narrowly ahead of Jolly. So that puts Knightsev and Martin at worst 6th and 7th after this round of qualifying. And Pavel Wimmer, actually, who was 6th after the first round of qualifiers, on the inside with the white nose, he loses out here quite badly. Those three cars locked together just basically slow each other almost to a dead halt, don't they?
Yeah, so once you're in that position, it's really hard to actually break away from it and make any more moves. You know, they're all rubbing together, and it's hard to release yourself from the lock.
Lots of bodywork being thrown around by Jolly's car, the Fabia losing its front bumper, and the Audi as well throwing bits off. Gergely Martin was very quick in free practice 1. He was fastest of all in free practice 1, which was dry, and then third in free practice 2. But our race winner in this one is the Russian.
Well done, a great drive. How was it out there for you, and how is the track evolving as well?
Окей. Хороший выезд. Сели с командой, собрались, обсудили тактику на заезд. Все вышло, как вышло. Гонка покажет, не буду лукавить.
Thank you very much, well done.
Thank you. Good day.
Well, you don't need me to translate that for you. I think it was... and if you do, you're in trouble. The only word I picked out of that was tactics. And that's all part of qualifying as well, is really working out how you're going to best deal with the joker lap. The assumption is everybody will take it, particularly if you're out front on the very last lap. But if you're not in front, then you have to know how to try and get around the cars in front. And that's really important for these guys as well.
Yeah, it's not only the time lost whilst going through the really tight chicane here, it's also the time lost on the run up to turn 1.
So this is our 5th and final qualifying race in Q2, and Aidar Nuriev, who came out on top in the first qualifying runs, he starts on pole from Igor Sanin with Marius Bermingrud. Now, he won his qualifying heat, but it wasn't among the quickest, or it wasn't the quickest. Yuri Belevsky and Josef Suster. That is the top 5 after qualifying. So let's see how they fare with the 24-year-old in the Audi A1, the orange and black car of Aidar Nuriev. Twice a winner so far in Super 1600 this season. He is the man they're looking to beat. Green and black with a white bonnet is Marius Bermingrud, and he makes a good start as well. But Nuriev with the inside line, and around the outside, Belevsky, the Russian with the Swiss license. Is he going to take second place? It looks as though Igor Sanin might have it. He does, but a good start from Nuriev.
Yeah, Nuriev there making the most of pole position. Of course, pole isn't always the favourable grid slot at this track, but it didn't phase Nuriev. He got the start he needed, and now he's out in front.
Belevsky made another good start from almost the far left of the grid. You could see from the timing screen, actually, as he crossed the start line, he was narrowly ahead of Nureyev, but Nureyev kept the power on up the inside, took the lead, and Belevsky now in third. It's Nureyev and Sanin, and then Belevsky and Bermingrud, and Suster is kind of all on his own, about a second behind. So the question is, can Sanin do anything about the Audi in front of him?
He's looking quite close, isn't he? Only half a second between them at the last split, but it seems as though Nureyev has maybe pulled out a bit of a gap. Yeah, so he's pulled a 10th on the run through turn 1 and then back down the hill again.
Belevsky in third, the 34-year-old in the Audi, so Audi's first and third, Sanin in second in the Twingo, but that's as sideways as we've seen coming down the hill. Now, if he gets it to rotate like that, at least it helps with tyre wear.
He's dropped right back now, hasn't he? He's lost almost, well, he's lost half a second on that last lap, and Belevsky has gained right up on him now, so he's starting to get in the clutches of Belevsky at this point.
Josef Suster, 5th fastest time in the first round of qualifying heats, and he needs a good one. He's taking the joker early. We're clear of Sanin and Belevsky, that's the battle for second. Youth and experience, Sanin 20 years old, Belevsky 34. Behind them, Marius Bermingrud not really making much of an impression. Belevsky goes joker now. That's an interesting way to do it on the penultimate lap of the heat.
Yeah, now he's looking to be threatened to be up the back of Bermingrud now at this point, where he could be potentially losing a bit of time on this last lap. Just looking at the lap times, Nureyev is the only driver so far this weekend to have gone into the 39s instead of 39.8 on that last lap. That's the fastest we've seen from Super 1600.
Yeah, when we started there in Super 1600, there were cars in the 48s, and it's getting quicker and quicker. So Nureyev, jokers now, Sanin jokers as well. Bermingrud will have to. Bermingrud is going to drop to 4th. So Nureyev, Sanin, yeah, Belevsky at the line is 3rd, Bermingrud and Suster. Now again, even Suster 5.9 seconds back. That should keep him somewhere in the top 8. He was 5th after the first qualifying run. And his time, 3 minutes 2.005. He's now done a 2:55.39. So that's 5 seconds quicker than he went. Nureyev, though, his first run was a 2:57. He's now done a 2:49. That's 8 seconds quicker. I'm having what he had for lunch. Igor Sanin second. Knighthev stays third. Belevsky, Bermingrud and Suster. So those 5 are still in the top 8, but Suster drops from 6th to 8th position, from 5th to 8th position rather. Gergely Marton and Timur Shirabutinov. Shirabutinov comes up from 12th place. Well, again, pole, defend the inside line with all you've got, Dan. That's the simple story, isn't it?
Yeah, and he got a good launch as well. He had a bit of a gap to the cars beside him. I mean, well, not a gap, I'd say. I mean, like, just the front of his car was in front of everybody else, so he had the dominance of the line.
Once he got his nose in front, he's not an easy man to unsettle. He was the winner of the Euro Rallycross Super 1600 in Barcelona, the season opener. He won at Spa-Francorchamps as well. So the Holland Racing Audi with 2 wins this season. Beaten in Sweden by Marius Bermingrud. So he's got 2 wins so far this year. And he was fastest in the first set of qualifiers, fastest in the second as well. Aidar Nureyev, the young Russian. So that has jumbled up our order a little bit. Nureyev, Sanin, Bermingrud, Belevsky, Josef Suster has dropped down the order. Pavel Wimmer, I think, has dropped down the order as well. And some of the guys that we expected to do a little better might be creeping further back up. It is still dry. So Nureyev winning the 2 qualifying runs so far. 100 points for him. Igor Sanin second. Marius Bermingrud in 3rd position. That's where they were after the first heat. Belevsky stays 4th. Suster drops from 5th to 6th as Knighthev comes up. Knighthev was where? He was a long way down, wasn't he? He was 11th, so it's a really good run from Marat Kneitscheff to go from 11th to 5th in this run. And Gergely Marton, 7th fastest, still not really living up to his free practice billing. And on the cut, Timur Saluri, Marcel Succi just outside, Thomas Krajicek just outside as well. So Shigabutanov as well, down in 9th place. Not exactly what he was expecting, I don't think, from his day either.
No, I mean, we've seen pace from him in the past, and it just doesn't quite seem to be coming together for him here.
Well, now, certain cars are going to suit certain tracks, certain drivers will prefer certain tracks and so on. I mean, is that part of the element as well?
I mean, yeah, potentially. I mean, I don't know what his preferences are personally, but I mean, we know the car is good. His teammates, one of them is, leading overall, and the other one is 3rd and 4th, and I'm not sure where Martin was, but yeah, the car is showing pace, so he's going to have all of that useful data to use. Yeah.
Right, so Super 1600s are done for their second set of qualifiers. Let's take a look at our supercars with Rudolf Audran, the 48-year-old Frenchman in the Peugeot 208. Alongside him, Ales Fucik, the Czech in his Polo, and Attila Moser, the 51-year-old Hungarian on the outside in the Peugeot 208. So again, this could be anybody's, really. It's not one of them had a really clean run in the first set of qualifiers. Let's see what they can produce here. 4 grids for our supercars. Full anti-lag. Launch control, away we go. Lights go green, and a great launch from Rudolf Audran on the inside in a Peugeot 208. The 48-year-old takes the lead. Ales Fucik behind him, Polo. Attila Moser, who was looking very tentative in qualifying, the 51-year-old in a Peugeot 208, looking just as tentative in the first corner. He hasn't really got the commitment there, Dan, to throw the car sideways and just keep it fully wound up on the boost.
No, not quite got that commitment, but we heard Robin saying earlier at the start of the live stream that to get it right how he does, it is so hard. It's such a fine line to throw it in like he does and show that commitment and have it work for you. So for some of the guys that maybe not quite got as much experience as Robin or so on and so forth, it's probably a better option to take it a bit safer and not try and throw it so sideways.
Fucci getting very deep in there, threw it a long way around the outside of Audran, and that's working for him down the hill. He's got the inside line, and he wants to get in front of the Frenchman and stay in front. Moser jokered on that lap, so he has done his joker lap, and Audran defended that too long and too deep, and then power understeer all the way off the end of corner 2 around the gravel trap. So Ales Fucik, he has the lead. He is looking a lot more confident in this second qualifying run.
I think Audran at the bottom of the hill there actually touched the barrier, which sent him out wide. So, yeah, like you say, there is no runoff here, so it's all barriers that he's going to be hoping it hasn't damaged the car. I wouldn't have thought it had. It would have been just sort of a glance that threw him wide. And you can see how close Fucik is there as well to the barrier. That's how close you have to be to try and get a good lap time.
See how it's starting to rut up as they climb up the hill as well. You talked about that at the beginning of the day, that will be increasingly the case. Although it's still pretty dry, it is starting to dig up. So Fucik and Audran will do their jokers on the final lap.
Fucik with a bit of mid-corner understeer there, maybe trying to grab the throttle too early and pushed it wide.
That's the problem with a four-wheel drive car, is that once you start, like a front-wheel drive car, once you've got the wheels turning and starting to understeer, more power means more understeer. It doesn't dig itself in, because the front is trying to scrabble, but the back is pushing it further off the corner. So Fucik, again, again, it's qualifying. It's all about getting the setup perfect, getting the drive perfect, as well as setting the quick times. So mistakes now, hopefully, will not occur when we get into the racing tomorrow afternoon. Fucik, Audran and Moser across the line. Right, well, let's have a look. Find me a bit of paper, which is taped to the top of the window there. Fucik 2:53.58 in the first. He's done 2:42.79, so that's 11 seconds quicker. And I think we'll see possibly some of the quick guys in the final heat going even faster than that. A few contacts still to be investigated. Good start from the pole man here, though. Rudolf Aldran really got fired up the inside of Ales Vucic.
Moser there going backwards. I don't think he quite got the RPM right on the launch control. Maybe slightly too low, and it looked like he bogged and had to kick the clutch to get away.
At the end of the first lap, it was all about Vucic trying to find a way by Aldran, which he then did off turn 1 down the hill into turn 2. You can still see the amount of dust, although he was pretty much on the clean line for braking. There's still lots of dust coming off his inside wheels. Once he got his nose in front, it's all about just carrying on, finding the speed. Joker on the last lap.
Do it.
And Ales Vucic is our race winner, and I think Laura Winter is waiting down there to chat to him. Well, if she catches up with Ales, then we'll hear from him, but her check isn't quite the match for his, so we'll let him go and get to our second grid. Lithuania's Paulius Pleskavas in the Fiesta on pole position. Alongside him is our newcomer, 54-year-old Swede, Krista Dalmans. Dalmans, a multiple ski bob champion. That's not the word I'm looking for, is it? What do you call him? Snowmobile champion. Had a drive in a supercar for a 50th birthday gift, and apparently then discovered that he loved rallycross even more than snowmobiles. Thomas Karai in a home-built Audi A1, starting third, and Stein Jensen in his Ford Fiesta in virgin white still, actually, after the first heat. He will start in fourth. The 61-year-old is the oldest man in the field in either Super 1600 or Supercars. Our youngest is 16, and our oldest is 61. Just to show this, still a career, another 30 years. And the rest. Pleskavas on the inside. Does he get a good start? He doesn't get as good a start as Thomas Karai. Wow, Karai absolutely flying up the hill into turn 1, but drifts out a little wide. Pleskavas inside Jensen in the white Fiesta. Jensen in third, ahead of Dalmans.
This is what Thomas Karai needed. He actually set a reasonably good time in Q1, but then was given a 5-second penalty. We're not too sure what for. I think it might have been something that happened off our shot in Q1, but yeah, he received a 5-second penalty, and so now he's got amends to make up. So he needs to really put in a good run here.
Yeah, that 5-second penalty was enough to drop him out of the top 12. Dalmans, the new boy, taking his joker on lap 1, and Karai, clearly feeling that he's been badly done by, is determined to show everybody in this one. Pleskavas in second, Jensen in third, and Karai a second clear, and that gap opens up another 2/10, so he's starting to pull away now. Dan, you talked about it, we saw it in a couple of the heats in the first set of qualifiers. Up the hill out of turn 2 is a real secret place for finding speed.
Yeah, I mean, all the cars can look like they're going through there the same speed, but the sheer commitment you need to go up through there, it's a metal barrier either side of the track there, so it's very easy to just touch the barrier and get it wrong, but you have to be so committed up through there. We're going to see Karai go up through there just in a second, but when you watch the likes of Robin Larson up through there, he's pretty much about to hit the barrier, car, 90 degrees to it, but you see Karai there as he comes up through. Yeah, maybe just lacking that little bit of commitment that Robin has. He carries much more speed up through those 2 corners and into the last series of corners here in front of us.
Well, he's opened up a second on Pleskavas in that last lap. Jensen still in third. They will all joker on the last lap. Jensen losing nothing really to Pleskavas, just a couple of hundredths on that last lap. But Karai opened up the gap from just over a second to 2.1. So let's see if he can produce an even faster lap. What was he doing in the first heat? 41s, 39, 38. And so far it's 38, 37, 38. So Karai, a 37.881. Yo! Was that as planned? That looked like he might have had to have re-navigated that tyre stack going in. Nevertheless, how far ahead? 2.7, yeah, so Pleskova's caught 2/10 there on that last sector, which is basically the Joker lap. So that wasn't the neatest Joker we've seen from Thomas Karai. There's his name, Tommy on the front. But that was quick stuff. So what was the last lap? 39.5 compared to 37.88, his fastest. Thomas Karai, 2:38.9, and in the first heat it was 2:50.7. And that's before the 5-second penalty was added. So he goes top, Pleskova second, and Ales Fucik, the Czech, in third, ahead of Stein Jensen and Krista Dalman. So that was a quick heat, getting quicker and quicker. Now, of course, they were quicker in the first heat than the guys who have just preceded them, and the next guys who are coming were quicker still, so we should see each set of grids going up in front, but it's good when you can see guys like Fucik holding on.
Karai here got the launch he needed, lucky not to cut off the nose of Pleskovas as we're watching him through the Joker lap. So this will be the last lap, but you can see the mistake he made on the brakes, the car wobbling a little bit on him, and oh, we're watching the start again.
Yeah. Well, that Joker lap, that quarter of a second, that could be the difference between winning the final and not winning the final. So it's so important to get the entry into the Joker lap really nailed, isn't it?
Yeah, and I find with practice, back when I was racing, I used to try and do the Joker lap a little bit more than doing the standard lap, because that's the most crucial part of any race, but it's the part you get the least practice on because you only do it once per race, so you have to make sure that you get it absolutely nailed.
So practice it in practice is the answer, and Thomas Karai is now the fastest man with 10 to go, so that moves him into the top 12 at least. In our next grid, we will have 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th fastest from qualifying 1. So Sonja Evgen on pole position in the blue polo, car number 20, the 21-year-old, car number 69. Is that the way it's working out? Yes, it is, with Thomas Brintersen alongside him, also in a polo, the 23-year-old Norwegian. In the centre is Andrea Dubourg. You can easily tell the difference between him and his older brother Jean-Baptiste Dubourg, because Jean-Baptiste is older. Apart from that...
you can't tell the age difference in the car, mate.
Apart from that, they are identical coming towards you. On the upright of the rear wings, you'll see different colours. Green for Jean-Baptiste and orangey for Andrea Dubourg. Mandy August in the allinkle.com Seat Ibiza. She will start on driver's left, on our right as we look down from corner 1 to the grid. So Sonja Evgen on pole position in the polo, and Thomas Brintersen alongside. So Peugeot, and then Seat is your grid. 2 polos, 2 Peugeots, 2 Seats. So it would be nice if they just had like a little flash on the roof or something. I know Andrew has spent all season ranting at them, but you can rant at French people as much as you like, and unless they're interested, they're not interested. Away we go then for our third qualifier. Lights change very quickly, and JB Dubourg again makes a good start. Brintersen right up the inside, gives himself some breathing space. Too much, gets a touch from JB, and through goes Evgen.
Sondra Evgen, yeah.
Yeah, Sondra Evgen, who was on pole position, didn't make the fastest start, but made the cleanest first corner. JB, this really is a little bit like an Andros Trophy race, because he's trailing a Fender. Going all electric this season, and it looks as though JB will be part of that revolution as well. Andrea in 4th, and Mandy August in 5th in the Munich Motorsport black and white Seat. But Sondra Evgen with the lead. Evgen picked up a lot of damage, and look at the dust now. I mean, talk about getting dry. Hello? Is there anyone at home? That's really, that's dramatically different even from the last heat.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot drier now, isn't it? But some of that dust is going to be dragged onto the tarmac, but you can see as they came around the second corner there, they are starting to lay down a little bit of rubber onto the tarmac there. So there's going to be more and more grip levels coming to these guys as they go through the course of the day. Of course, we've only got this this qualifying session for the day, and then I'm not sure what the weather's going to be doing overnight. So all of the dust might well have changed into mud overnight if we do get a heavy shower of rain. But yeah, for now it's definitely looking faster, and you can see the black lines on the tarmac.
So Efton leads in the blue car, Brinterson with the orange highlights behind it, JB Borg, Andrea and the August 4th and 5th. Looks Efton getting more and more sideways.
Looks like there's quite a lot of dust dragged onto the exit of turn 2 there. Not sure where it came from, but Efton just dropped his back wheel onto it and sent him sideways. It's not the place he wanted to do it. We saw a big crash there last year with Kevin Hansen on that corner, and it's a brutal one.
Brinterson up the inside of Andrea Dubourg, who gets very sideways at turn 1. So Brinterson joking. I wasn't entirely sure he meant to do that. It just looked a bit like the car got too far away from the hill. Ran out wide on the dust and went, okay, we're jokering now, rather than trying to save it. JB Dubourg really pushing Sondra Efjen. Now they joker, they will be 1-2, and Andrea Dubourg will be 4th. Brinterson won't get... Oh, he might do! JB clipped the wall on the inside, did he? Or did he just get very, very sideways? JB Dubourg 2nd at the line, Thomas Brinterson 3rd, but Sondra Efjen claims victory, 2:34.47 for the heat, and Efjen 2:44.45. So 10 seconds quicker than they went, or than he went in the first heat. It was in that heat where they had a big 4-car pile-up at the first corner, wasn't he, and lost a nose. Sondra Efjen, the winner then, from Jean-Baptiste Dubourg. Thomas Brinterson in 3rd, Andrea Dubourg in 4th, and Mandy August in 5th position in the Seat, and that drops her, unfortunately, I think, out of the top 10. Efjen, Dubourg, Brinterson, and Andrea Dubourg. So JB and Andrea are 2nd and 4th, and Thomas Karai now up to 5th position, Pleskavas up to 6th, Fušik up to 7th, and so Thomas Karai, who is 13th because that 5-second penalty, is currently in 5th place. So the worst he's going to be is 10th. That is a good recovery from that. All right, let's get down to Laura Winter and see if we can hear from our race winner, Sondra Efjen.
Sondre just adjusting his helmet and getting himself ready after the race. A great start from you, and that's very much what won it. How did you see it out there?
It's such a difficult first corner here, but you just have to almost close your eyes and hope for the best. So this time it was good for us. So yeah, it was a good drive. The rest, but some small mistakes here and there. But the track is really difficult. It's coming along now. So hopefully we can keep on progressing this weekend.
And when I opened your driver door to get in, there's a slight damage to that, just a dent or so. Is the car all right? Have you heard from your guys?
Yeah, I think the car is all right, but I had a small incident in the first corner, as I said, so, but bruises is okay.
Brilliant, well done. Thank you very much. Best of luck tomorrow.
Yeah, close your eyes and hope for the best. He's on the left of the picture, and actually closing your eyes might be the best thing there. He navigates the drama as Brinterson goes out wide, hits JB. JB gets clipped by Mandy August. Brinterson was almost facing backwards there, wasn't he, on the exit of turn 1?
Yeah, he done a good job not to properly lose it there and actually get himself back up into P2. It was a good recovery. He made the whole shot almost, and then it just fell away from him, coming in a little bit too hot.
JB flapping a wing, that's not really material damage. That'll be replaced fairly quickly, doesn't hurt the aero too much either. And then off the joker lap, Andrea Dubourg making a mistake in front of Thomas Brinterson, really gifting him 3rd place. And the leaders going through nose to tail. JB did hit the wall on the exit. Not a big blow, but enough to really kick the, lift that car and push it sideways like that. That takes a lot of energy.
Hopefully no damage on that one before, although now
well, at least they've got overnight.
Yeah, we've got overnight now, so wouldn't be too bad to try and fix that.
So here we go with our fast 5. Now, close your eyes into the first corner. If you're not the leader, actually after lap 1, you're not going to see much anyway, are you, Dan? I mean, that's really going to be a bit of an issue now.
No, I mean, I didn't think at the start of the day that we'd be seeing dust as bad as it is here. It was showing signs of it was quite damp and then had some rain and all sorts. But now, yeah, seeing the dust fly up, it's not great for these guys.
I didn't even think 2 heats ago it was going to be like that. It was just the last heat that was so dramatic. Robin Larsson with the best shot then from pole position. Pontus Tiedemann, Rennie Munich alongside him. Munich had a really good start from the outside of the row in his qualifying heat. Mikko Ikkonen qualified really well, and Peter Hedström, he is 5th after Q1. Well, for Larsson and Tiedemann, whoever gets their nose in front has a big advantage here, don't they, because of the visibility issue.
Yeah, definitely. So coming out of turn 1 in the lead is what everybody is going to do.
Look how close Munich in the middle and Tiedemann in the right. Tiedemann right on the white line. Munich is going to lean to his right. Got a reprimand in the first heat for leaning too much. That's much cleaner from him. And straight into the lead goes Larsson. Didn't get the greatest start, only 3rd fastest away. And right behind him, Hedström. So it's a Swedish 1-2, and actually Hedström having a little think about trying to go the long way around the outside of the Audi over the brow. Didn't happen. Pontus Tiedemann in 3rd place. Only in 4th and in 5th. Shuffled back there. Didn't match the great start that he made in the first qualifying race.
Larsson.
And a huge shunt from Larsson. Now, what damage has that done? Rode right up that tyre wall. Pontus Tiedemann maybe sensing an opportunity here. Jokers early, Rennie Munich with nothing to lose. Jokers on the end of lap 1 as well, but Larsson rode right up the tyre wall, Martin Schenker style, except there wasn't a barrier there in Schenker's day. I can't believe he's still got 4 wheels on his wagon. And it's steering.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really heavy hit, but it looks like he maybe, I don't know, it looks like to me like the tyre could be starting to come off the rim slightly. I don't know what he did. Maybe what's that tyre?
No, it's still got air in it.
Maybe a bit of dirt in the rim then. It just looks a bit funny as he goes around compared to the rest of them. But yeah, I guess he must have clipped the barrier on the inside of the corner, or maybe got caught out on the rut, but that was really uncharacteristic of Robbie.
Wow. Almost a mistake. Well, it was a mistake, but he got away with that. You know, sometimes having the right car, the right driver, the right team aren't enough. Sometimes you've got to have the right run of luck on your side. When you see a driver get away with an incident like that with effectively no damage and no time lost, you think, okay, the cards are running his way, aren't they? Look at this. Robin Larsson absolutely flying. He jokers now. Hedström follows him in. Ikkonen doesn't. So Hedström's going to drop to 4th behind. Munich could come out of this in 2nd. He will come out of this in 2nd. He might even go into the final joker section with Ikkonen dropping away behind him. Munich's having a look down the hill, not quite enough room.
Not quite sure why he brought out the joker at that time. We're now onto the last lap. Maybe he just, with the incident going around there before, he just maybe got a little bit flustered.
Well, Larsson trying maybe different options, seeing what difference it makes in terms of going early if you have to go early because you've been beaten away from the line. Ikkonen jokers, so Rennie Munich gets 2nd. Ikkonen 4th behind Hedström. And Pontus Tiedemann, what's going on with the Beetle? What is going on with the Beetle? Pontus Tiedemann should be, you know, he was 2nd in Sweden in the final, and that was not great from him. 2:42.0 from Pontus Tiedemann. He was 2nd quickest qualifier with 2:40.0. That's 2 seconds slower than he went this morning.
I think maybe something happened off shot that we didn't see.
Well, he jokered on the first lap, and I thought he was hoping to take advantage of maybe Robin Larsson breaking down, but it didn't happen for Larsson, and it definitely didn't happen for Pontus Tiedemann. Great run from Rennie Munich, though. That'll move him up the order as well. 2:36.78. What did he do this morning? 2:43.3. So Rennie Munich, that moves him down from 3rd to 5th. But Pontus Tiedemann, he goes from 2nd to out of the top 8. So where did Pontus Tiedemann end up? We need the timing page to flick back. Mandy August and Augustus Moser are 11th and 12th. So Mandy August is still a qualifier overnight. But Pontus Tiedemann has dropped way down the order the man who was second after the qualifiers. So Sonja Efjen, JB de Borg and Thomas Brinterson have really won there, and Laura is with Robin Larsen.
We've had drama here. Tried to open the door to Robin's car after that huge crash you had on lap 2. We couldn't even open the door. You just managed to sneak out the car. Firstly, physically, how are you? Secondly, what a remarkable recovery, and how on earth did you manage to get away with that?
Yeah, I'm good. It was a huge bump in the track where it's the fastest part on the track, so I was two-wheeling on the barrier and everything. So it's, yeah, I have no idea how the car managed to stick after that, but yeah, after that it was just to pull away and make 3 good laps. But I thought my spotter said the Joker on the lap 3, so I wouldn't take any chances. So I took the Joker, but it was 1 lap earlier, so it was a little bit, yeah, everything in one qualification.
And incredibly, you're still fastest as well. How on earth do you do it?
Yeah, I like the track, and the car works really good, and a good start again, so it's looking really good.
And in that moment when you've got 2 wheels up on the tyre wall and you're just trying to hang on in there, what goes through your mind? What's the adrenaline like through your body?
Yeah, everything happens so quickly, and when you are on the track and you hit a dirt barrier, it's from nowhere, because I didn't do any mistake. I drove the same lines like Q1, but the track is pretty bumpy there, so it's you get shocked and then you get into the barrier and everything. So yeah, a little bit shook up, but okay.
It's good you're okay. Thank you very much. We'll let you go and sort out your car door, and hopefully you'll be right as rain by tomorrow. Well done. Thank you very much, Robin Larsen there.
Well, anybody who follows sports car racing over the last 15 years will know that Audis are hewn from special metal, and Robin Larsen's appears to be made from the same stuff, indestructibility. Gets hit right at the first corner by Hedstrom, big hit from behind, and his compatriot almost gets by him. And then Dan, this.
Yeah, this here, we hear him say, oh yeah, you can see there, we see a nice slow-mo shot of it. And he just trailed the back end in the dirt, in the ruts that I said about earlier today, and it just completely changed the direction of the car. So I think that was why we saw him a little bit later on in the race, taking it a bit more steady up over that part of the track. You can see him there, not as wide and committed as he was in Q1, but the track doesn't allow him to.
Yeah, he welted it with the left rear and then the left front. Robin Larsen, though, comes out on top, 50 points from that qualifier as well. Sonja Efjen second, René Munich third. Pontus Tiedemann slips to fourth. He was only 11th fastest in the second qualifying runs, ahead of JB de Borg and Thomas Brinterson. So the wheels came off the wagon a bit there for Pontus Tiedemann and the VW Beetle. He's still in the top 4, but he doesn't need another run like that. So just outside the cut now, Mandy August and Stein Jensen. But Christer Daumans is in, and Tamas Karai is in as well. He's dragged himself back in, hasn't he, after the 5-second penalty in the first qualifiers, dropped him out of the top 12. Now overnight, he is a qualifier, and he can start really focusing on pushing forward and try and make sure that he gets as far up the semi-final grids as he can.
Yeah, his good time from Q2 is what he needed. He actually finished P9, I think I saw on the timer screen there. Yeah. So inside the top 12, which is exactly what he needed. But if he didn't have his 5-second penalty in Q1, I'm sure he would have been even higher up. Yeah, definitely. He's got top 6 or 7 potential right there. So tonight, if you're Robin Larsen, okay, you just hope you haven't run out of luck there, because, boy, he got away with that one. That was a get-out-of-jail-free card. I don't know what he did to earn it, but he's still on target. You know, he's been perfect so far. What about those who are chasing? Where are they going to find something? Because you can't wait to the final to try and produce some magic. You've got to find something before that to combat his speed. I mean, I'm sure the guys are going back and talking with their engineers about how they can set the cars up to be faster, and they're, you know, even the engine engineers, if they're changing gear at all of the right places, things like that. But also, a lot of these guys run these data systems that have a GPS and a camera and all those various different things on them, which they can track back their laps and see. They can pinpoint even to the nearest line, if they've just been a fraction off of an apex, what they've done wrong. So they're going to be watching that back over the course of the night to try and see if they can find any time.
And for those whose fastest lap is slower than Larsson's, where he used the tyre wall, they've got a lot of work to do, haven't they? Because that was still a quick lap. It was still a 36.8 lap. That was astonishing stuff. Right, so that brings us to the end of our qualifying action for today. On behalf of Dan and me, Martin Hayman, let's get back and join Laura Winter.
Thanks very much, Martin. Yeah, I'm just down here then off that turn 2, and you can see behind me the sand already coming out here onto the track from the likes of Pontus Tiedemann, Mandy August spinning out on this turn down here. That was a session full of drama, wasn't it? But what about Robin Larsson driving up a tyre wall and still manages to get a quick lap and indeed come out fastest here? He is sitting TQ overnight, all to play for tomorrow as we head into Sunday here at the 4th round of the FIA European Rallycross Championships. Thank you so much for joining me, Dan and Martin. From all of us, it's bye-bye, and join us again tomorrow, 09:50 CEST, for more Rallycross action from Estering. Bye for now.